It's a rather unique way for James Monroe High School to celebrate its 70th anniversary. Monroe is one of two city high schools Chancellor Ramon Cortines has now officially slated for closing. Citing a low graduation rate and a high crime rate, the Board of Education is planning to enroll next fall's incoming ninth graders in 4 smaller schools housed within the same building. Those schools would then become the nucleus for 4 new high schools in the Bronx. Gary Axelbank visited Monroe yesterday and found some staff and students who believe Monroe has gotten a raw deal.
While James Monroe High School on Boynton Avenue in Soundview has an illustrious legacy of more than 70 years, for the last 20 years, the school has been unable to develop a consistent method of dealing with the difficult problems of urban youth. According to this Monroe teacher, the problem starts at the top.
I came in here in 1970, and there have been, I believe, 11 principals since then. Without a stable administration, the school becomes unstable.
Monroe has gotten a reputation of being a crime-ridden school. Is it, in fact, as violent as some say?
I feel safe in this building. My staff in general feels safe in this building. Of course, we have our problems, but I think we're just a microcosm of what's going on around us. But I think that the environment in which these youngsters find themselves for the 7 hours or the 6.5 hours that they're here is the safest environment in which they find themselves the entire day. And that includes on their way home, on their way to school, and many of them have expressed to us even at their homes.
A couple of years ago, there was a shooting outside of the school. In fact, it made national coverage. I believe Newsweek or Time magazine quoted the statistic of a student shot outside of James Monroe High School. It was not a Monroe student. It was not done by a Monroe student, but we got the benefit of the publicity because it happened in front of James Monroe High School. So it became a James Monroe incident.
There seems to be a universal understanding at the school that the media has done a disservice to Monroe by being selective in reporting about school activities.
People come to school and they do their work, and they go out and they do different things around the community, and they don't show those things. They just tell the bad things about Monroe. That's not giving us a booster that we're going to school, and that's not giving us pride in our school or school spirit.
I still recall once having a group of kids in a homeless shelter where we were entertaining homeless people, and a news crew was there and refused to film the kids interacting with the homeless because they wanted to film the negative aspects of the shelter. So, it's a losing battle fighting with the media.
Even the process of reorganizing the school has had a negative slant.
I really would have liked to have presented this in a very positive manner as an opportunity for our youngsters, but the way we found out about it was very, very negative. And the fact that Monroe was singled out as though this is the only school at which these statistics are appearing made our youngsters and our staff and their parents feel very, very bad. Is this the worst school in the city? Because that's how it was portrayed. I have to tell you, I think not.
And what of the Monroe legacy? It has not been determined yet if the Monroe name and 70-year tradition will survive this reorganization.
There is a tradition here, a close to 70-year tradition of the Eagle, the Monroe Eagle. The history of this school is one of the brightest in the Bronx. And somehow the failure and the success have to be blended into some kind of compromise.
I want, when I grow up, I could remember that I usually go to that school, and to tell my kids or whatever.
So the closing of James Monroe High School could mark the end of a long-standing tradition of education in the Bronx. The hope is that the school or schools that replace Monroe will be better able to serve the growing and changing needs of overpopulated Bronx neighborhoods and the complexities of educating urban youth. For BXNY, I'm Gary Axelbank.